There's a question in modern psychotherapy dealing with parental relationships, with relationships between parents and children, that concerns the nature and limitations of a parent's responsibility for the child's development. And there's this tendency in modern culture to ascribe an extremely high level of responsibility to parents for the way their kids turn out to be. And one of the psychotherapeutic arguments in support of this approach is that by developing our dysfunctionalities and our, to put it mildly, our particularities in our ways in life and dealing with other people, we compensate for the lack, for the general lack which is built into our structure of existence, and for particular specific lacks that we mainly inherit from our families. A child who grows up in a broken family, the broken family is now the norm. Marriage has been destroyed, the family has been totally destroyed culturally, it's not even considered desirable anymore. So many children grow up in broken families with just one parent and with occasional contact with the other parent without that structure, that normative structure that the family offers. So they lack confidence, they lack a sense of security in society, and they compensate that lack by becoming too attached to their peers, to their friends, to their social group. And this obviously is reason for some caution on behalf of the parents, because being too attached to a social group or to a group of peers carries inherent risks of being driven to various delinquencies and dysfunctionalities by the group. Drug use, abuse of alcohol, socially destructive behavior, risky behavior of various sorts, etc. So we have this tendency in psychotherapy to ascribe the imbalances and dysfunctionalities in the child's development to various faults apparently committed by the parents. So a child who is too dependent on friends, who is too dependent on their group of peers, will then be blameless in the eyes of psychotherapy, because it will be the fault of the parents who divorced or who were unable to offer a stable and normatively strong family environment to the child, despite the fact that the society militates against such environments and against the family. Now, there's no child that has grown in a family that is perfect, that has not encountered a lack either in the sense of security and self-confidence or in some other field of positive, some other type of positive relationship with their environment, with their society, with their family, with their parents. However, in earlier times, there was this culture in society which fostered resilience, which commended resilience, which suggested, which normatively prescribed resilience. And in this culture, having gone through difficulties and having encountered a lack in one's childhood was not seen as reason for a dysfunctionality. To the contrary, it was seen as just another opportunity to show resilience and to grow. Many children are being bombed in Gaza today, but only a small minority will develop a psychosis because of that. The majority will become medics, doctors, functional parents, spouses, members of their community. And only a small minority will become dysfunctional. The same applies to any cohort, any imagined cohort of children or people who face adversity in life. So it is culture. It is our culture that determines whether we will respond to difficulties by developing a mental disorder, or we will respond in a resilient way. It is not the experience, it is the culture which makes sense of the experience and which prescribes the way in which we will use and process that experience. Donald Winnicott, one of the most accessible and narratively approachable and easy to read psychoanalysts in Europe, has this crucial concept, the concept of good enough mother. Good enough mother. Winnicott spoke about mothers primarily because he believed that most of the pathology in family was connected with mothers, especially in parenting, because of various sorts of issues which arise between the mother and the child. And he argued that the question that we should ask ourselves is whether we are a sufficiently adequate, good enough mother, and let's sort of generalize this into parenthood, so good enough parent. Have we been good enough parents? And are our children good enough, resilient enough with regard to our expectations, society's expectations, and their own interests in life? If we have been good enough and our children are good enough, that's okay. Asking a parent to be responsible for any kind of issue the child faces because the parent was not more than good enough, the parent was not perfect, is in fact a process of pathologizing the society, because it basically instructs young people to be dysfunctional because the society expects them to respond to various types of lack, frustration, dissatisfaction, or inadequacy in the treatment they have received or in their early relationships by being in some way disordered or inadequate in their roles in society and in their interpersonal relationships. So rather than pathologizing this, we need to understand that the concept of a good enough parent is the only reasonable concept that we can work with, and that what is most likely the key element of any perspective of increasing and heightening and raising the level of mental health in society is culture of expectations to respond to adversity by constructive self-development.